Hello, welcome to my channel. Look what I've got stuff in here. So, I don't know, I wanted to make moulds of my embellishments, especially some of these really lovely ones in the metal. And I wanted to make some moulds of these embellishments. So I thought, I'll give it a go. So I bought some Let's Resin mould, like silicone mould kit. Is what I actually bought. I actually bought this. A silicone mould kit that I want to make. That I want to make day out of. I was like, it's only small. 4 ounces by 4 ounces, which is okay. I thought it was actually 6 ounces by 6 ounces, but it doesn't matter. It's going to do the job, and to be honest, it's less for me to waste if I waste anything. So I thought I'd try it and see how it goes. So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to make a mould for my embellishments? So I'm like thinking, all right, I'll make one with some sellotape and some stuff, like, you know, to fill up the sides and whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. And then in here it showed you that you can use one of those. So, which is this. So I've got a couple of them. So I did try on this one. So what I've done is, and I didn't realise they come out. So I've done with this one. So now here's my voiceover. So what I thought I'd do is, I use the other mould, and I'd put sellotape and double-sided sticky tape in it, and I weren't happy with the way it was sticking, or not sticking because of the sellotape. So what I thought I would do is, I've really sped this bit up because you know me, because this was really long. I took the old sellotape and sticky tape out, and then what I did was I stuck down the double-sided sticky tape straight to the inside of the container. I did clean it first with some rubbing alcohol, just to make sure that there was no dirt or dust or debris inside it. So then what I did was I got my because I bought this double-sided sticky tape thinking it was the one I could use to stick my nails to things, and it's really that thin stuff they use on cards. So I thought, okay, well this will do. So I sort of measured it, and then I put the middle piece in first, and then I pushed it down with my silicone tool, and then I got a pair of tweezers and I just pulled off the edge, and then I stuck my next bit down. So I'd done that for all of them, and then once they were all stuck down and I was happy with them, I was really pleased that the slots came out. So it made it a lot easier to stick the tape down. I could have done it in one whole long thing, but this was my first ever attempt at making a silicone mould with proper rubber, like silicone, like, yeah. Because I did try and make one with some silicone that you use in the bathroom, and what's that stuff called? Cornstarch. But it didn't work very well. So now I'm getting my embellishments that I want to copy and put them in. You've got to try and make sure there's enough room around all of it, so that when you do use your mould, it doesn't split or tear when you pop your embellishment out. So I had to try and make sure they sat in the middle as much as possible. I know that there's probably people that might be watching this that deal with silicone and epoxy resin. I don't. I deal with nails. But I wanted to be cheap, and I got some nice embellishments, and I know that some of these embellishments, they'll run out, and I thought I wanted to keep on getting those or using them. Once I've run out, I'm done. So I wanted to make some more. So I thought, all right, I'll give it a go, because it ain't gonna hurt, right? It's just a, you know, it was just a tenner for the silicone, the stuff from Amazon. So I just thought, well, try it, Mish. You're not going to lose anything, are you? So, and some of these embellishments are really cute, and they do run out, and then they don't restock them. Like, I've got other ones that I've had, and now I can make copies of them and then just copy and use them instead of, like, you know, I might try some of my gems, some of my weird shaped gems. I don't know yet, and maybe I'm being a bit too ambitious. Don't know. So once I'm happy with all these embellishments going in, I just push them down, make sure that they're sticking, and then I put the slots in. And there's actually the sticky stuff holds a slot, because I was a bit worried thinking, oh, it might leak underneath, It did a tiny little bit, but not into the next one, so it's all good really. I really enjoyed doing this, and I'm so impatient. I mean, you have to wait 8 hours for this stuff to like set. So I was so impatient waiting for this stuff. So impatient. So I'm putting my embellishments in, trying to get them as like not too close to each other, but not too far apart either. I was looking for some other embellishments, trying to think what else could look, because I was going to make all of those little things, and I was like, yeah, this one will do. And then I found a lost embellishment that I wanted to use, which was a bow, which was one of them like brassy ones, but a bow. I found that, so I put that in there. I took what I had in there out. I can't remember what I took out actually. This is a bit long, sorry peeps. Yeah, so I'll tell you something, I had some fun making this. It took a long time. I got a new haul coming from Shein, and I don't know why, but they sent it in 2 packages. But the first package I received was 1 item, and the rest is full of 99 items. So I don't know what that's all about. Why is it doing that? Anyway, so now with the Let's Resin silicone rubber, you've got to do it to a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're doing, I can't remember where I saw it. So what you do is you've got your mould, and before you put all your items in your mould, you've got to put sand. I used sugar on my first mould, but on this mould I've used rice. You've got to put that in, and then you tip that out and you weigh that, and that is the amount of weight you need for your silicone to make your mould. Now I thought you had to do it empty, so I've been doing it empty, but I don't know. Anyway, so the way I've done it is I've got an empty mould ready. I've put sugar in it, like I put a bit of tissue or something in it, sugar or something in it that can be weighted. Like it says sand, but I haven't got any sand. Sugar, salt, anything like that. And then what you do is you divide that weight by 2. So if it's 10 grams you need, then you need 5 grams of part A and 5 grams of part B, and you've got to be really, really precise. I wasn't exactly perfectly precise. I got my like a point of a gram over, I think, on part B. I'm not sure. I'm just cleaning out my glass jar because I wanted to use my glass jar, because I had a silicone like cup thing, but I don't know where it's gone. See, I got my silicone tool, all from Shein, and I'm just making sure that that is really clean, so that when I pour the mould, when I put the liquid in, it's really, really clean, and there's no imperfections in my liquid. I need it to set properly. So you put your cup or whatever on your scales, and then you weigh it. Whoops. So I put my cup on my scales, set it to 0, and then it's got a little cap on, and then I poured A in. I was really nervous about this, you know, that was so nervous. So I couldn't remember how much I needed for A, because it was quite a large mould. So I did use quite a lot actually, and you'll see that I actually used too much because I didn't know what I was really doing. So I made too much because they're quite deep. You'll see at the end, like when I pull them out, how deep they actually are, where some of them didn't really need to be that deep. So this new one that I've made is not that deep. So I'm really hoping it doesn't break when I pull the embellishment out of it. It's a really nice, like, it looks like a knitted heart. Oh, but it's lovely. So then you put in 1, which is A, and then you put in B, and you put the same amount in B. You set your scales to 0 again, and then you pour your amount of B in. So you can get a measuring cup and use the cup, but it says by weight, so I've weighed it. So once I'm happy with that, put the cap on, and then I've got my lollipop stick, and then you just slowly stir it. Now this looks really fast, but it's not, because I've sped this up, you know me. And you've got to stir it for 3 minutes. So you stir it for 3 minutes in one direction. You make sure you're getting the mixture from the sides, off the bottom. So you've got to give it a good stir. Don't stir it fast, just stir it slowly. It's a bit boring, but you know, it's better to do it properly than have a mistake made. So I'm stirring. Oh, this is a bit long. I'm stirring and I'm stirring. Once you finish stirring for your 3 minutes, then what you do is, some woman on YouTube I watched, she said you pour it from high because you're going to get bubbles in it. So you pour it high, so it's supposed to be less bubbles. So I did that. Yeah, and then I scraped it off the end. I try not to scrape it on the thing. I don't want to hit the mould or anything. You can see there's loads and loads of bubbles. I was freaking out. I was like, I've done this wrong. Just, it's one of those trust the process moments. Do you know what I mean? That's what this really is. You've got to trust it. You've got to trust yourself in being able to do it. So I've used the stick just so that, you know, because as I was pouring it, I noticed it started to run down the side of the glass. You do need something with a lip more than anything, but, you know, you live and learn, right? So I was getting a little bit concerned because I'm thinking, do I think I've got enough? I'm not sure, but I actually had more than enough. Like you can see, I've got way too much. I didn't know, so I just filled up the rest with what I had left. I didn't want to waste them. I didn't know what to do with it, so I didn't want to waste it. So I poured it all in. So they are pretty deep, which is a shame for some of them. But I'll tell you something, oh, mate, you'll see anyway. So as you can see, I'm pouring and I'm pouring. Now this looks fast because it's slow. Sorry. But I've sped it up again, as I always do. And I'm just trying to get the last dregs out because I don't want to waste any of it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, don't waste it. Make sure you've got everything. Scrape off that thing. Scrape that jar. I see everyone is always scraping their jar. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to scrape my jar, pour the rest in. And then once I'm happy with that, I just put the lid on, closed it, cleaned out all my stuff and waited just a bit, just not long enough, but I waited. Alright, so this is me finally scraping out the dregs. You got to tap it to get some of the bubbles out. You can blow on it apparently as well and it will pop out the bubbles, but you can actually watch them. So I'm doing a quick recording. It's been about, I don't know, about an hour and a half they've been sitting there. So let's have a look. Let's open these puppies up and just see if it's still wobbling. Hold on one second. Maybe I should do that first. They look pretty clear. There's no bubbles. Oh, I'm so excited about these, I tell you. They look really clear. Right, you can see the things through it, so I'm really hoping that will be alright. Right, so as you can see, I took one out because I couldn't wait, I was too impatient. And here's one of my moulds. So, this is a unicorn, and it's supposed to be a fox mask, right? But it's, actually, it says on the advert fox, but he looks like a cat. And I watched a video on another lady, and she said the cat. But they're actually foxes. Who knew? So, yeah, so this is them. There is good detail. I'll tell you something, I'm excited. So I looked at the bottom, so you can see the bottom. Some of the embellishments, a little bit of silicone got underneath because of they've got some angles and they're not sitting properly flat. So that's what I liked about that, you just slide it out. But you know, I have to get one of them, you know, them cheap little brown nail clipper things that you cut your cuticles with and you mustn't really use. I'm going to use one of those. See the bow, look at the bow, you can just see the detail, the absolute detail in it. It's amazing. I was like so over the moon. Like, and I tried to make the silicone with bathroom silicone and corn flour, because you can do that. The pigment of the polish went inside it, but it doesn't with this stuff. It doesn't soak up the pigment. I was really over the moon. This one was a bit difficult to get out because the edges didn't come out. I'm like, how am I going to get this out? So I got a bit like, ugh. And I got my spatula and I dug it out, and I was like, oh, I'm sure I'm going to damage it. Look, I just tried to gently like pry it from the sides. I was proper having anxiety over this, you know that, like. I was thinking, if I make these and they go wrong, I'm going to look like a right plonker. Do you know what I mean? But nah, it's all good. I'll tell you something, I am over the moon, and I shall be making, I've obviously made some more. So once these ones are dry, I'll show you the embellishments that I got when I get my haul, and then I'll show you the moulds that I made. I'm hoping that they work alright, and you know, yeah, I'm just like praying and hoping that I've done it right. See, they're quite deep, and some of these embellishments are tiny, like really small. Like these are really thin, and they're so thin that the silicone actually got underneath them, which is really annoying. I had proper struggling to get these out, really struggling to get these out. So, you know, I don't know what, to be honest, I don't know what I was doing. Like the face of that brass gold rabbit, it's like got a cavity underneath it, and the silicone's gone through the eyes and gone into the face. So I'm like, ah. But you live and learn, right? It's practice. It's like, yeah, I don't know if the embellishments have worked yet. I haven't tried them ones. I did try one, my shamrock. You'll see that later. Oh my lordy. Picked up some proper detail as well. It's like, yes, happy. And what else did I make? Oh, a rabbit as well. I made a rabbit. But yeah, so this is me trying to get the rabbit out. Like, not this rabbit, I made a different one. Trying to get this rabbit out and seeing if I can still keep the eye bit in there. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to really tidy up these, like, around the edges. Some of them, they need tidying. Like, that's the eyes. I don't want to damage it. There's an extra bit of flap. Ooh, that sounded awful. I'm sorry. Sorry. But yeah, so I'm getting me little... I think this is a Diamante one. This Diamante one. And I was really worried that, oh, some of this stuff's going to stick inside, like, inside the embellishment. And, no, man, this stuff just peeled off like a glove. It was amazing. I'm trying to get some of this stuff off, and it's like, I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting really frustrated. Look, you can see where it's just got over the top. It's just got underneath, like just a tiny little bit, nothing major. And like I say, I've just got to clean it out, and then that'll work. Yeah, and look, I've got that bunny, and it's got all the detail in it. And if you see it, as I move it, you can see it shimmering. So I'm hoping that it will catch that shimmer in the mould as well, because I've seen people use holographic stuff and it's come out amazing. No, Meech, that don't come out. Right, what's this one? I can't remember what this one is. Yeah, let's see what surprises we have in store. Right, come on. I was like, should I really be digging at this stuff? You know, like, is it like strong enough? I'll tell you something. I've got Let's Resin silicone stuff. I've got their UV resin, and I've got their actual epoxy resin. I say something, that epoxy resin stuff is good. It is good. And I need to get myself a really nice... I'm not going to buy a cheap mould off of Shein. I'm going to buy a proper decent mould. I might even actually make one. Maybe I'm getting a bit too way above my station, saying I'm going to make one. Right, so these are just little tiny ones as well that are rabbits with strawberries and carrots and stuff. So yeah, and they just pop out. And I was thinking I could make these and like do them like glow in the dark. I don't know, put like a shimmer to them, like pigment, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like inside my bows. Look at my bows, they're so pretty. I like them bows, and now I can have them in different colours. So I can have them in red, green, gold, whatever colour I fancy now. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, you can see I went with my hand because I think it's got a little tiny sheen underneath it. It was my... Do you know what it was? Yeah, I was so over the moon with these. See, they really are deep shape. They are very deep. Because I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? I weighed way too much. They are very deep, but, you know, it doesn't matter. It was because of these ones that I wanted to make moulds, right? These two embellishments, the finish on them is really cute. They've got a nice little dimply finish. You can see that they're obviously made in a mould with gel, because the back's clear and it's solid. They've got like a texture to them, and they're only shells and starfish. So I was like, yep. And if anyone's got these embellishments, you will know what I mean. They are the cutest thing ever. And you could use metallics and anything. So I'm going to give them a go. I think these are my bigger ones now, my bigger sizes. What is this one? Yeah, definitely too much resin. this is my bunny. This is the bunny I made. It's coming up in a future video. Yeah, this is the bunny that I actually made. Look at him. It's like a patchwork bunny. Tell you something, he turned out cracking. I was so over the moon. Over the moon! What else? I'm sorry if this is a bit slow and a bit long. It is like, you know, you're going to need a cup. I should have said it at the beginning. You're going to need tea, snacks and comfort. The teddy. I've done the teddy. You'll see at the end. I've done the teddy. I've just done it quickly. It's alright. It's not bad. I mean, I didn't do it properly. I just quickly bunged some colour in because, to be honest, my eye, I couldn't see it very well. So, I don't know. But I wanted to keep them clear. See, they're way too deep. I wanted to keep them clear so that when they bake, the light gets through them. Do you know what I mean? See, they're way too thick. But that one's cool as well. And then you can squeeze it to get into the deep places. I was really over the moon with these. Very over the moon. What's this one? Oh, my shamrock. And my teddy. Now look at you'll see the detail that this picked up. You can't see it on the camera because it's clear. But you'll see in a minute the detail it picked up of this shamrock. I was so over the moon and so happy with it. These definitely too deep, but these are truly worth buying and trying to make your own embellishments. You know, it saves you a lot of money in the end. I know you're buying like the mould stuff, but if you've got some embellishments that you know that you'll probably never be able to get again, and you're happy to make them, and then you'll constantly have them. They'll be like your moulds. Then you'll have them forever. So I'm really happy with them. Like, yep, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Let's see. So I thought what I'd do is I'll get my shamrock and I'll do my shamrock. So what I do is I give it a thin layer of a colour that I want to use first. Because I need it to bake properly. Because if you fill up the whole mould with gel, it's not going to bake properly. So I've sped this bit up, as you could probably tell. So I just got a little bit of green on the end of my brush and I just made sure that I painted inside that shamrock, all around the edges, all around the sides and everything, and made sure that I filled it properly. And then what I did was, once I was happy with that, I baked that under my light for 30 seconds, this polish. And then what I did was I gave it, I think, a second coat of green. And then after I gave it its second coat of green and it had baked fully, then I put the top coat inside it to hold them all together. Because I didn't want like green in the middle to cross it. I just wanted it on the actual leaves itself. Yeah, it did take me a little bit of time, as you can see, because I'm trying to make sure that they're, you know, they're quite perfect. Because I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly. And then I took it off the end, like wiped off the top, made sure there was nothing else. What is this piece? Oh yeah, so I've given it its 2 coats of green and I've given it its top coat. Now there's a time for revealing. So you just pull it apart and it pops out. I was so over the moon with this. I was so excited. Here we go. Look at it. Look at it. You could see I was excited. Look how it picked up everything. I was like, what? I was like, oh boy, and I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, I like that. And while it's still warm, it's a bit bendy, still a little bit flexible. So if you wanted, you could bake it, take it out the light, take it out the mould and stick it on the nail, and you could have it fit around the nail a bit, you know, so it's not so risen, because once they're cold, they go hard. But yeah, just like, sorry, get my crusty old, like, granny fingers. See, and you can bend it. And it was like, yeah, boy. And then I was like, I've got a couple of air bubbles in there. I've noticed that. I was like, look, see? Look how it picked up the detail. Oh, it's the design on the thing. That's all right. Look at it. I was so happy. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'll do it in red. I thought I'd do red. So what I did was, I'd done the same thing, but in red. But instead of the end, I put clear over the whole thing. I just put clear over each one. so it made them individual leaves. Yeah, because when I was looking at it, I was like, they look like green hearts. I'm going to make red ones. So that's exactly what I did. So you just got to make sure it's right. See, and this is them done. This is like me giving just each individual leaf its top coat. You can just make sure, like when you're doing it, just make sure you don't go right over the top of it. Like, you know, that because you get a frame then, and you've got to try and tidy the frame up, and it's like, argh. So once I've given it all their top coat and I've baked it for the 30 seconds, oh, you'll see them. I can't believe the level of detail that this stuff's picked up. I can't fault this stuff ever. This stuff is brilliant. I've never used silicone before. This stuff is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I was trying to get them out and I was getting a bit dainty. Look, too thick, man. Way too thick. It's alright, my next mould's quite thin. I'm hoping it just not too thin. Look, come out like little cushions of love hearts. It's like, there you go, Mish. There you go, Mish. Now you can make like love hearts, different colours, everything. I was so happy with this. So happy. I'm trying to pick it up. Look at it. It's just perfect. It's like the perfect heart, right? It's just amazing. I was like, duh. So now I've got a shamrock and I've got hearts. Look at that. Look. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can't fault it. You can't fault it. I'll tell you something. Look, I was so excited. Absolutely excited. Yeah, so I'm just trying to turn them over. And then I picked up the green one. I'm trying to pick them up again. I don't know what I'm doing. I picked it up and as I bent it went snap. Because it went cold, right? And it snapped. So I just snaps it again in half. So I've got 4 little green hearts, and 4 little red ones. And that is my shamrock. So you know this stuff is good because it picks up all that detail. I don't even look, see, because I put too much clear around the edges. There's a frame. I don't like that, but it doesn't matter though because I don't care. I'm happy with those. Yeah, boy. Look at me, hand dance. I keep on looking over at the other one because I really don't want it to leak. I sort of like bodge something together, you know, bodger and badger. Yeah, so I sort of bodge something together. So I'm hoping it's all right. I don't want it to leak. Wake up in the morning and there's like silicone it's gone solid, dripping down the side of my table onto the floor. That would just please my husband to no end. What am I doing here? I'm sorry, I haven't took this piece out. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I'm putting them in a box. Yeah, so I'll tell you what I did do with the moulds. Now I don't know if you're meant to do this. Is the teddy. With the moulds, I don't know. So what I did was I put them in a bag, IKEA bag, and then I added a little tiny bit of cornstarch and shook it. And then what that do, it stops them from being sticking to each other. You can just clean it out. It washes out. It's fine. Sorry, I've done that because I made a rabbit. That first rabbit that I pulled out, I made that. So it come out pretty cool. But yeah. It's even got like, it's got little shiny crystals where it's picked up the shine off the gem. Yeah, boy. I'm happy with these. I'm so happy. Don't even know what to say. So yeah, I've got some. Right, so I have a St. Patrick's Day one coming up on the 17th, I believe, is St. Patrick's Day. Yep, which is in 2 weeks. So I'll have that video then. I'll have another one in the meantime because the one in the meantime will be my haul. And I shall see you in my next video. Right, I'll see you later. Buy this stuff, it's amazing. Thank you for your continuing support. Thank you for coming back and watching again. And I shall see you in my next video. Ta-da! Bye!